who know Germany will, of course, be familiar with the Frankfurt area. She's put together quite an extensive presentation, and I will, of course, leave that to her to show it to you in a little while. We also have Ajmal Fawad with us. Ajmal is, of course, part of VDMA, which is the German Engineering Federation. They have an extensive network in India, and they have, of course, been instrumental in telling people in India what the German engineering industry is all about. They've also organized business delegations, and whenever we travel abroad, we've always had the good fortune and opportunity to meet up with VDMA representatives. The experience is always enlightening. Ajmal has also put together a very excellent presentation, which I had an opportunity to glance through. And I think you all should pay careful attention to what he has to say. The third and final speaker is Manoj Barve. Manoj is a consultant in his own right, tremendous experience with industry, starting with finance and accounts, but he has himself moved on to issues related to mergers and acquisitions, business process, restructuring, transformation of your company if it's not doing too well. And I've known Manoj since his days with Alfa Laval and ThyssenKrupp, and he has extensive knowledge about what Indians could actually do in Germany. When you listen to these presentations, I'd like you to keep an open mind. It's not easy to do business in Germany, but I think the important thing is that if you don't try, you'll probably never get there. This is an attempt to make you try to see what you could do if you have that vision to work abroad. In that respect, Germany is a good place to start. Frankfurt is probably the best place to start. And I think the representatives from BDMA and the representative from VDMA and of course Manoj will tell you, right, as to why that is so. So keeping that in mind, let's begin the proceedings this afternoon. Disha, take it away.
Sure. Thank you so much, Zubin, for that wonderful introduction round and also for this wonderful opportunity to be able to connect to ALUCAST members this afternoon. I will quickly share my screen and my PPT. Yeah. So I think before I delve deeper into the specifics of the Frankfurt-Rheinmain metropolitan region, I believe it is important to do a bit of context setting, given that we are all in the midst of an ongoing pandemic. Germany is currently rapidly recovering from a second wave of COVID-19 post-summer, and the daily new infection rate is dropping drastically. As of today's date, as we speak, Germany has 2.41 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 patients, of which 2.22 million have already recovered. So that is a 90% plus recovery rate that Germany is currently having. As we speak, Germany is already also undergoing a lockdown. In fact, it has been under varied degrees of lockdown since November 2020. In the current lockdown, most non-essential shops and services are slated to remain shut until the March 7th. Vaccination is also ongoing since December 2020 and is moving ahead full steam. And last but not the least, the relief measures offered by the German government, be it short-term work, be it financial loans, be it relief in terms of compliance requirements, are amongst the best and most generous and effective amongst the entire European Union. So I believe this sets a little bit of tone for today's presentation because, as I said, it's important to also take into view and take into account the happenings all around us as we speak. As Zubin mentioned, I think most of you are aware of the city of Frankfurt. You must have transited through the Frankfurt International Airport. You might have participated in some of the leading trade fairs that happen in the city of Frankfurt. However, the name Frankfurt Rhine-Main might come across as slightly new or unknown. So let me talk you through what exactly Frankfurt Rhine-Main represents, what are the key areas that we cover, and what are the key cities that fall under the geographical limits of the Frankfurt Rhine-Main metropolitan. So as you can see on the map, we have the city of Frankfurt at the core of the metropolitan region, around which we see two different rivers, the River Rhine and the River Main. And together, the city of Frankfurt and the region encompassing the two rivers, that forms the Frankfurt Rhine-Main metropolitan. What is very interesting is that this entire region cuts across the boundaries of three different German states. So we have this German state of Hessen, which is a part of Frankfurt Rhine-Main. Apart from that, we cover parts of Bavaria and parts of Rhineland-Palatinate. What is also very unique about Frankfurt Rhine-Main is that it is a very polycentric region, and that business is not only concentrated in the key area of Frankfurt, but there are many different smaller towns and cities around Frankfurt that have specific sectoral strength. For example, the city of Aschaffenburg, which is located in Bavaria, in the southern part of Frankfurt Rhine-Main, is extremely strong when it comes to the automotive sector. Apart from that, we have the city of Rüsselsheim, where the Opel plant was located. There are cities like Offenbach, Hanau, which have a strong representation in the chemicals sector. Apart from that, we have Wiesbaden mines, which are very, very active in the pharmaceutical and life sciences sector. So as you can see, this is a polycentric region and has multiple strengths and is away from its usual image of being only a financial center or the financial hub of continental Europe. Last but not the least, this is also Germany's leading economic regions, and 12% of the entire goods manufactured across Germany are produced in the Frankfurt Rhine-Main metropolitan. So when I was putting together a PPT for today, I was thinking about what exactly is it that could be relevant for you today as business individuals, as business representatives, and what exactly would be the key takeaways for you when you talk about Frankfurt Rhine-Main. So Frankfurt Rhine-Main, in my opinion, offers 5 C's, as I would like to club them or put them together. And these C's are, in my opinion, very, very important for the growth and development of any business in international markets. So the first C is, of course, customers. Any business needs to be close to their customers in order to be able to serve them quickly and to reach out to them in a short notice. The second C is unparalleled connectivity, being close to your suppliers, being close to where your customers are located, and being able to reach them in short amounts of time. The third is access to good workforce, access to unique talent pool, which is covered by colleges or universities or institutions of higher education. The fourth C, which I think is again very, very important when someone decides to live abroad or live or operate out of an international market, is the support of a vibrant community. So here I'll talk briefly about the Indian community, the strengths of the community in the Frankfurt Rhine-Main. And last but not the least, I would like to round it up by the comfort of living or the high standard of living that the Frankfurt-Rhine-Main region offers. So let me begin with my first C, which is customers. Now, what I understand from Zubin is that for a lot of companies that are ALUCAST members, automotive industry is very, very important. You guys supply to the automotive industry, you work directly with them. So I thought, let me put together a map that shows or reflects the automotive excellence of the metropolitan region that I represent. It's slightly difficult to read the individual names because, as you can see, the region is filled with a number of players. It is home to some of the world's largest companies in the automotive sector. Here, I would like to point out a few things which make Frankfurt Rhine-Main a very good location, especially when it comes to the automotive industry and hence the associated aluminum casting industry. The first thing is 30 of the top 50 global suppliers in the automotive sector are either located within the Frankfurt region or they are headquartered in the greater Frankfurt region. Number two is that this region is not dominated by one particular OEM. So it offers a very fair and a very level playing field to companies entering the region since it is not dominated by one particular giant. The third thing is that it is home to a lot of Asian giants. We have companies, the Korean, the Japanese manufacturers, be Mitsubishi, Kia, Honda. They're all also there and very actively there in the region, and they focus on the R&D for the European geography from the Greater Frankfurt. Another couple of factors that I would also like to highlight is that apart from the big names that you see over here on the map, the region is very, very strong, especially when it comes to the Mittelstand. You will hear about the German Mittelstand or the SMEs as they are called later on today in Mr. Manoj Barve's presentation. But the Mittelstand's representation is also very strong and active in the Greater Frankfurt region. And last but not the least, we have to support the dynamic industry. We also have clusters in the area of automotive, clusters in the area of aluminum die casting, that are available to support members, to arrange activities, and to give and disseminate information. So all in all, it's a very, very vibrant ecosystem that you will find, and I'm sure that you will also be closer to your customer base when it comes to Frankfurt. My second C, which I initially talked about, was unparalleled connectivity. In today's time and age, of course, it is important to be very well connected to where your suppliers are located, to where your customers are located. And Frankfurt, I think I'm sure you're all aware about how well and how great the Frankfurt airport is connected to all parts of the world. Apart from that, if I talk about the city of Frankfurt, it offers excellent connectivity through air, water, and railways to not only other parts of Germany, but also other major cities and trading centers across entire continental Europe. As I mentioned in the beginning, we have the two rivers, Rhine and Main, which offer a port access and through which it's easy to also transfer your goods and products via waterways. To also talk about some of the recent developments, Vistara has started operating 2 direct flights from the city of Delhi to Frankfurt. Apart from that, cities such as Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore are anyways very well connected via direct flights to Frankfurt. And last but not least, just a second. Yeah. So it's just a very concise map that shows you how well you are connected to all locations, be it in the eastern part of Europe or in the western part of Europe, by locating yourself in the greater Frankfurt region. The third C that I mentioned is access to workforce or access to talent pool. And in Frankfurt Rhine-Main, we are very, very lucky to be having some of the world's leading universities, be it the Goethe University, be it the Technical University in Darmstadt, the Fraunhofer Institute, and so on and so forth. We also have some of the leading research institutes like Max Planck Institute, and as I mentioned, the Fraunhofer. The region is extremely cosmopolitan and international and offers most of its study programs for higher education in English language, apart from the German language. And there's a huge concentration of students in STEM, which is the math, science, and technology and engineering areas. So there's no dearth of talented work pool or talented workforce availability in the greater Frankfurt region. Moving on, my next C that I mentioned was the support of the community. And here I am very, very proud to say that the Frankfurt Metropolitan region is home to one of the strongest Indian community in continental Europe. So currently we have more than 15,000 Indian residents living in the greater Frankfurt region. There are a number of social as well as business networks that cater to various Indo-German aspects. So we have the presence of business networks such as Indo-German Roundtable. We have the India Business Forum. We have Thai Germany that caters to the Indo-German B2B aspects. Apart from that, we have different cultural clubs. For example, the Bengali Samaj, the Gujarati Samaj, the Marathi Katta that offers various programs and that offers various networking opportunities to the community in general. And last but not the least, Frankfurt-Rheinmain is home to two of India's largest banks, the State Bank of India and ICICI, which makes it extremely easy to conduct business and do business with Germany. My last C that I referred to, now Frankfurt ranked number 7 when it came to the Mercer Quality of Living Index. However, what is interesting is that when you look at the cost of living in Frankfurt, it is not really that high. It ranked 74 on the worldwide ranking for the cost of living. So essentially what I'm trying to convey is that it is an excellent place to live in. It is an excellent place to visit as well. It is an excellent place to conduct your business from. It gives you a high standard of living, but at a cost that is extremely reasonable and that is affordable. What I particularly like about the Frankfurt region when I lived there back in 2008, 2009 is the fact that it is on the one hand extremely cosmopolitan. The city of Frankfurt is extremely international, it is cosmopolitan. But you go out 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers from the city of Frankfurt, and it gives you a very warm, a very rural, a very green, and a very natural feel. So that is one unique aspect of the Frankfurt region, that it blends the modern as well as the rustic feel quite easily and quite seamlessly together. Apart from that, as I mentioned, it is not only a good place to do business, but as I said, once things open up, once travel is more normal, I think you should definitely also visit the place. There are a number of sightseeing places, number of cultural heritage options that are available in the region, as well as world-class museums in the greater Frankfurt region. So these, in effect, are the 5 C's that the Frankfurt-Rheinmain region offers to potential investors. Now, I would like to talk a bit about what we as an organization do, what Frankfurt-Rheinmain GmbH does, and what does it offer to companies such as yours that are a part of today's webinar. So Frankfurt-Rheinmain GmbH is a German government-funded initiative, and we are here to promote inbound investments into the greater Frankfurt region. We are made up of 33 different government stakeholders. So the city of Frankfurt is one of our biggest shareholders with roughly 40% stake in the organization. Apart from that, we have smaller counties, smaller towns and cities that also contribute towards Frankfurt-Rheinmain GmbH as shareholders. And we together represent the interests of all of our public shareholders. We have been active in India since 2005, so since almost 16 years now. But we only started with our first office in Pune in 2012 in collaboration with the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. We work very, very closely with Indian as well as German government bodies. We are very well connected with the local authorities in Germany so that we are able to help companies through various levels of setting up business in Germany, and even after they have set up it, if they face any problems in terms of local permits or local regulations, we are there to support these companies in collaboration with the government bodies. Apart from that, we also very closely work with the consulates here in India. So we make visa and work permit processing also very seamless for you. At the bottom of the slide, I have tried to list a couple of the services that we offer to potential investors. As I said, I think our key role here is to promote the region, is to provide and disseminate information that is relevant for you as investors in the region. We offer information that is sector specific. We can give you access to reports, industry specific reports, anything that you would need to make your decision to invest in Germany easier. Apart from that, we provide you access to multiple business networks, including industry clusters, um, industry associations. We provide access to taxation and labor law experts who can tell you about what's current in Germany, what are the regulations and rules that you need to follow when it comes to investing and setting up or doing business in Germany. And last but not the least, as I mentioned, once you have set up your company in Germany and you need help with visas, with work permits, with certain local permits that are applicable in Germany, our team in India as well as in Frankfurt is here to support you through all phases of setting up business in Frankfurt. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation. I have here the coordinates of myself as well as my team members in the Frankfurt office. Please feel free to reach out to us at any point, and I'm happy to take any questions that you might have towards the end of the session. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me. And now I would like to hand over to Ajmal for his presentation. Over to you, Ajmal.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Disha, and thank you so much, Mr. Kabraji. I would like to first of all thank ALUCAST and FrankfurtRheinMain for giving the opportunity to present myself in this esteemed forum. I'll just share my screen now. Yeah. So first of all, I would like to inform you about what is VDMA. So VDMA is actually a German term called Verband Maschinen und Anlagenbau, meaning Federation of the German Plant and Machinery Manufacturers. So VDMA is actually an association of German machinery manufacturers, not only in Germany, but it's the largest industrial association in whole of Europe. We have more than 3,300 member companies in Germany. And which actually 90 to 95% of the German companies are members of BDMA. So German machinery industry, we represent about 90 to 95% of the whole German machinery industry. So these member companies produce to the tune of 232 billion euros and export at a rate of 78%. So you can understand the production of these German machinery manufacturers. Most of them, most of it is exported rather than sales in the domestic market. We are actually 127 years old organization, and our members are actually classified in 38 specialized sectors that I'll come take you through which are the sectors which we are classified into or divided into. Our head office is in Frankfurt in the region of Frankfurt-Rheinmain, and we have offices in India, China, Brazil, Japan, Russia, and Belgium to take care of the services of our member companies in these regions. So these are the different sectors which are actually our members are classified into under the mechanical engineering umbrella. So agriculture technologies being one of them. Where the members like Class, Grima, and Lankan is present. We have cleaning systems where we have members like Kashal, Dur. We have construction equipment technology or building material machinery, which covers the ceramic and cement machineries also. So we have Wittgen, Schwingstetter, Heron Connect, Boimer in this sector. We have fluid power technology also, where companies like Bucher and Arbohydrous are members of VDMA. In fact, foundry machinery is also one of the important sectors for the VDMA, where we have members like Westman, SMS, Andritz, Irish, Lempe, and many more companies, German companies who are actively present in India. There are other sectors like mining equipment, plastic and rubber technology, power transmission engineering, where we have members like Nord, KTR, Lenze, Ringfeder, such companies, and like robotic automation, where we have KUKA, Festo, SICK, and Schaeffler, such type of VDMA member companies present already in India. So VDMA for foundry machinery is actually part of the VDMA metallurgy division. So VDMA Metallurgy Association is the joint platform of all the metallurgical machinery producers. It includes the specialist association, foundry machinery, metallurgical plants and rolling mills, and thermoprocess technology. So these are the three specialist associations where the VDMA Metallurgy division is divided into. Foundry machinery is actually caters to the members who are into melting and shaping and casting machinery manufacturing. So our members produce machinery which are into which are actually melting and soaking furnaces or casting machines or die casting machines or sand treatment and regeneration systems or mold production machines and systems. So such type of machines manufactured the German companies comes under the VDMA Foundry Machinery division. The other division is the VDMA Metallurgical Plants and Rolling Mills division, where members who are into melting and casting and rolling machinery and equipment. So these members are manufacture machinery which are into the following processes, which are used in the production of steel, aluminium, and other non-ferrous metals. So these processes may be raw material processing or steel production or strip treatment, shaping of steel and non-ferrous metals, finishing processes, etc. The third part of the metallurgical division is the thermoprocess technology, where our members are manufacturing machines which are into treatment, conversion, and processing of metal, glass, ceramic, cements, and chemical industry. So here they are catering to the processes like heating, reheating, soaking, drying, cooling, hardening, melting, firing, cracking. So these processes are involved, which are covered by these machineries. Now I'll quickly take you through the casting industry overview globally. So friends, if you see the casting production globally, so worldwide, if you see, there are 45,377 foundries were reported worldwide, which with the largest share of foundries in the iron sector, and then there are aluminium foundries also, and followed by steel. Once again, in 2019, if you see, China, India, and US hold the top 3 spots of casting producers. With China producing to the tune of 48 million metric tons, India standing second, producing to the tune of 11 million metric tons. And if you see, Germany also stands fifth, producing to the tune of 4 million metric tons. But in 2019, friends, if you see, the worldwide production of castings decreased by 3.2% from 2018 to 2019. China actually reported a 1.2% decrease in production, further followed by India, saw a decrease of production of 14.2% in 2019. The year 2020 is marked with the coronavirus crisis. So if you see the period between 2016 to 2018, friends, the global production of iron and cast steel materials increased by 10% to 90.2 million tons. But in 2020, what happened is the production of around 76 million tons of cast iron materials worldwide, which is expected. This means a production loss of around 16% compared to 2018. The sharpest decline in 2020 was in the Western Europe, where it is expected a production slump of up to a quarter. The largest, actually in the Western Europe, the longest lockdowns occurred, and the recovery of the automotive industry also began very slow at first. The Eastern Europe and the rest of the world, on the other hand, production also drops, expected to drop from 14 to 15% each. So the automotive sector, which has the largest application for the foundry industry, actually was impacted because of the COVID crisis. So if we see the production of, there was just production of just 72 million light vehicles, which was there in 2020, which means a global slump of around 20%. Europe and North America were the hardest hit. The decline in global car and commercial vehicle production is having a negative impact on global casting production in the current year. I mean, in 2020. So the casting production in Europe, if we see, friends, the decline in the production of iron, steel, and malleable cast iron is very different in Europe. The sharpest drop is seen in cast output in Italy. The focus of the first wave of pandemic actually hit the industrial heart of Italy. So that's why actually Italy was the hardest affected in the European region. Not only the automotive industry, but the mechanical engineering and the large plants of metal processing are located in Italy, but also many foundries with an international reputation are located there. But the German foundries also suffered a significant drop in sales in 2020. In addition to lower calls from the automotive industry, the temporary disruption in the supply chain in other industries also dampened demand. The Eastern Europe foundries are getting through the crisis somewhat better because of the pent-up demand, especially in the Russia and Ukraine region, but also because of the weaker lockdown measures. Even in Turkey, these have largely failed to materialize. Overall, if you see, however, a recovery process in the production of cast iron materials in Europe is expected in 2021 and 2022. However, the pre-crisis level will only be reached briefly at the best. Now I'll take you through the aluminium casting production globally. Friends, the global production of cast aluminium has also suffered a setback in the past year. The total production is likely to be good 10% lower than in 2018. It is expected only a slight decline in Chinese cast aluminium production to around 7 million tons in 2020. The decline in the Western Europe and the rest of Asia is expected to be as bad as 15 to 18%. The lower casting output in the rest of Asia is mainly due to the falling production in India and the declines in Japan and South Korea. However, production losses of only around 10% is forecasted for Eastern Europe. So the structural component segment in particularly offers great opportunities in Western Europe. For example, the Tesla wants to manufacture large and complete aluminium cast parts for its e-vehicles and has accordingly invested in new casting machines. Other OEMs are considering similar projects. So there's a lot of opportunities in the structural component manufacturing. So within Western Europe, Germany will be able to maintain its position as the leading aluminium casting producers. Friends, as we all know that the year 2020 is marked by the coronavirus crisis, the drop in production in 2020 will accelerate the consolidation process. So there may be possibilities of companies be getting insolvent, which are not always accompanied by a reduction in capacity, but there will be more takeovers and joint ventures. So many smaller companies across the globe will no longer be able to cope with the future investment needs, for example, in aluminum casting. However, larger company units also improve their negotiation position in relation to the mostly considerably larger customer groups. So thus, in a way, if we see creating opportunities, this is creating opportunities for interested domestic companies for buying up or acquiring such sick global units and turning them around to set up foreign businesses. So a lot of opportunities of companies across the globe to buy such units or or expanding in the European region in the Germany. I would like to show this particular slide to you because this is a very interesting slide. This shows the automobile assembly and engine production plants in Europe. If you see, there are altogether 226 automobile assembly and production plants in the European Union, with Germany, which has the largest largest number of the units. 42 Germany has, followed by the United Kingdom. Then we have France is also there, then Italy is also there. So these are the few countries in Europe which have the largest amount of assembly and engine production plants in Europe. Since we cater to the manufacturers of the machinery, so I would like to show some statistics on the global foundry machinery trade scenario. So if we see the globally, the machinery, foundry machinery trade from different parts of the world globally, then we see 2 billion euros of export which took place in 2019. So it was a decline of 0.8%. But if we see, China tops the list with the highest export globally, with 427 million of euros of export, followed by Italy, Japan, and Germany is also one of the strong country for exporting to the national market. So which has an export of 152 million euros of export. So Germany stands fourth. So this shows that these countries' machinery are actually has a high demand globally. But if you see, when the suppliers to India mainly, there are USA, Malaysia, Spain, Indonesia. Italy is also one of the important markets for India as far as the foundry machinery is concerned. However, Germany was not in the picture here in among the top countries supplying to India. So Germany actually supplied 147,000 euros of foundry machinery in 2019, which actually was a great dip from 2018, more than 50% of a dip. And it is expected in 2020 would be much lower. Friends, before I conclude, I would like to briefly inform you about the India office of BDMA. So we have the head office in Kolkata, headed by our managing director, Mr. Rajesh Nath. And our regional offices are in Mumbai, Bangalore, and Delhi. So in India, out of those 3,300 members, there are 600 members already present in India. So the remaining members who are not yet present in India we are the first point of contact for them. So in India, we see we are the only association of its kind focusing on the mechanical engineering industry. This I thought would be interesting for you all, because most of the participants here are into manufacturing. So what VDMA provides, with the help of the senior expert in service of Germany, we provide expertise services to the manufacturers if they want any technical expertise from Germany. So there is a pool of experts who have an experience of 40-50 years with them. So these pool of experts are actually retired experts, and there's a pool of them available. So in case you have any issues or any requirement of expertise from Germany in any field, you can take the help of this expertise at a very nominal cost. So who can be the beneficiaries? Mainly the manufacturers for the small and medium enterprises who are weak in productivity and technology aspect. They can take the expertise from Germany and they can improve their productivity and technology. And other areas can also be helped with services. So what these experts do, they actually will train your staff in improving your productivity and quality assurance and like management, sales and marketing. So whichever field you want to expertise in, you have to mention that in the form, and then from the expert pool, we will look for the right expert and send you the CV, and then we can make the deal. So they will come on a project basis for say 40 days or so, and then they guide your staffs for the necessary training. So these are some of the cases which actually some companies which already took the services of the senior experts from Germany. There was one from the casting and fabrication industry only, a heavy engineering equipment manufacturer from Raipur. He took the service of the senior expert in service for improving in the process and quality and produce value-added products in Foundry division. There was another company in Aurangabad who is into the forging company. So they also took this service to improve the present manufacturing process flow and also to manufacture top rods and V rods as per global standards. So not only forging, a company from any sector can avail this service in order to improve their productivity and gain the technical expertise. Uh, so with this, brings me to the end of my presentation. I would like to highlight that our Managing Director, Mr. Rajesh Nath, was felicitated with the Cross of the Order of Merit from the German government. It is actually the highest civilian honor by the German government. So it was a moment of pride for us. There are contacts available from all the offices. Ms. Jamie John heads from our Western region office. Mr. Roy heads our Eastern region office. Mr. Manohar is from the South, and myself from the Northern office. So this, and you can always go to our website, www.vdma.org, or the Indian website, www.india.vdma.org, to understand, to gain knowledge about different markets, economic and technological information. And also it has the whole directory of the German VDMA members or German machinery manufacturers. You can easily avail from the website. So with this, I conclude. I would like to thanks once again to the participants for patient listening, and to the organizers for inviting me for the presentation. Thank you. With this, I would like to hand over to Mr. Manoj. Mr. Manoj, the floor is yours now. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Can you stop sharing? Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Disha. Thanks, Zubin, for giving me this opportunity to present information, to share the information about German Mittelstand, German SMEs, and about the hidden champions. When I spoke to Zubin, he said that it should be inspirational. We should be hearing something about what we can benchmark upon, or what could be our role model. And German Mittelstand is the role model not only for India, but for all developing as well as developed countries. So why are SMEs? I mean, most of the companies present here are SMEs. Why are SMEs important for any economy? It's primarily due to, I mean, we have different domains in any industry, but why is SME important is primarily because it contributes maximum to the employment. It helps in exports. It helps in reduction of income inequalities in a country like India. It's very important. And it reduces the regional disparity because the SMEs are spread all over the country. Manufacturing share in GDP is high by the SMEs. Skill development is an important thing where SMEs can play a bigger role, but they are already playing some role. And it helps inclusive economic growth. And that is what is our objective of the government, of the country, of the people of the nation. When you think of large corporations, what do you think about? Large corporations in Germany. There's a map of Germany. We usually think about the electrical giants like Bosch and Siemens, automotive OEMs like Mercedes, VW, Audi and Porsche, chemical giants like BASF and Bayern, or companies like Lufthansa or SAP. The backbone of German, not only German economy, but of German society, the German nation, is its SMEs, popularly known as the Mittelstand. And these SMEs are there. I mean, like in any country, the maximum number of share of companies is SMEs, more than 99% in numbers. But not only that, they are involved into 36% around of the invoicing or sales, but 58% of the value addition comes from. So their manufacturing depth, their engineering depth is much more than the large companies, which is clear to us. They hire 60% of the Germans. They employ more than 80% of the trainees, and that is extremely important in Germany. Half of the Germans don't go for higher education, but they become apprentices in these kind of companies. They become skills, they develop, learn different skills and follow those skills throughout the life. We will see a bit more in detail about that. These companies, SMEs, German Mittelstand, are almost 88% owned, managed by the owners themselves. So there are very few who give management to others, and 95% companies are family owned. To that extent, it's similar to what happens in India too. What is the specialty of German Mittelstand, German SMEs? They are small and medium-sized enterprises, mostly industrial electrical equipment. They are often manufacturing capital equipment, that is machinery and tools, family owned, and they are often in small towns or even in rural areas. Strictly going by definition, SMEs are 500 employees or less, or 50 million euro as sales, so around 400 crores in Indian rupees. But this term Mittelstand is used quite loosely, and people or major companies, even who have 500 millions or a billion sales, are proud of calling themselves as Mittelstand, because they have grown from family owned, from small location companies into large. And a part of it, which are premium companies, they are called as hidden champions. These companies are called as hidden champions based on a survey done by Professor Dr. Simon. And these companies are defined as below 4 billion in sales globally, but number 1, 2, or 3 internationally in their niche area. And there are 2,700 such companies globally were identified by Professor Simon. Out of that, 1,307 companies are in Germany. This could be companies like, Herrenknecht. Why they are called hidden is because they are not known very much in public, and they prefer to remain unknown. They are shy of publicity, so to say. So this is a company called Herrenknecht. We nowadays see a lot of tunnel boring machines in our metro projects and all. These companies manufacture very simple kind of products quite often. Perry is in scaffolding material, Vdma is in food machinery, Kaiser is in compressors, Enercon is one of the global leading company in windmills. Also, they are less known. That's why they are called hidden champions, but they are extremely profitable and extremely strong globally in the niche which they work in. This is Professor Dr. Simon, who did this study in 95, then he revised in 2009, and that has become a sample for all other countries globally to follow. So as we can see here, per million population, there are 16 hidden champions in Germany. 48.7% of the global champions are in one country, in Germany. In other countries, there is around 1 or less than 1 per million as hidden champions. India has hardly any hidden champions, but there are a couple of companies who are hidden champions, like SL Packaging, who manufactures tubes, and it's a large medium-sized company, and globally number 1 in manufacturing toothpaste tubes. And we don't have many such companies, as Zubin has also mentioned, but we have potential of delivering global hidden champions. it takes time, but then we need to know and work upon their specialities. I did some study, I did some research about what makes these companies as global. Why do they set global standards? There are different reasons for this. I divided it into historical, which cannot be replicated by anybody, which are traditional, strong manufacturing base and entrepreneurship clusters, which cannot also be easily replaced in other countries. But then there are behavioral, individual reasons, and there are certain governmental or institutional reasons. And we will go through a couple of such reasons why these companies are where they are. I'll just mention you about some companies which you might find funny, but there is a company, Herrenknecht, I talked about, which started just 40 years ago as one-person engineering company. And today it's a global leader in tunnel boring machines. Freudenberg, which is there in Pune, this company is in 8th generation. Since 8th generation in the same family. There are 300 family members in this company, but then they have developed a charter based on of clear values and long-term or longevity, long-term culture. Heidelberg Druck, printing machinery manufacturer, we know, they have a specialty that they supply 100 parts for 100-year-old machinery. So that you can see the kind of commitment they have to the customers. These companies are in very narrow field, but then they are global champions, as I mentioned. Flexi is a company which is having 70% share of global retractable dog lashes. Now, dog is a popular animal in Western countries, so there is big demand for that. And 70% of the lashes are provided by one small company based in Germany. Delo is another company which manufactures 80% of adhesives used worldwide in smart cards. There are so many such examples in very small niche, but global champions. So these companies start with a niche, extremely focused, then they go deeper in that niche. So that gives very difficult for large players to get into competition because it's very small niche, but then they go deeper into that niche. Within that niche, different products, different technologies they provide. That also allows them to have R&D and innovation within small niche. And so they become global leaders. I mean, they become smaller by going into a niche, but then become global by larger by becoming global. I'll give you an example of a company called Winterhalter, which is 700 million euro company. So with this example, it will become easier to understand how Mittelstand or hidden champions operate. This company manufactures dishwashers. Dishwashers has a huge market. Every alternate house or every house would have dishwasher in home. But what happens here is that this company identified that it sells dishwashers in schools, hospitals, companies, and other organizations, but that is between 3, 4, 5%, 6, 7%, but not, they cannot gain market share there. Where they are strong in supplying dishwashers to hotels and restaurants. So they said that we will go out of this market. We don't want to manufacture dishwashers for other areas. We'll just focus on hotels and restaurants because each organization of this will have different demand of dishwashers. So then they went into that market, not only that focused market, but then they developed not only dishwashers, but the water conditioners for those markets. Conditions are different for restaurants than for an industrial company. So they developed the conditioners, they developed the detergents, they started providing different services to hotel industry. Now, if you talk to any 5-star hotels or large hotels globally, they always know about Winterhalter, and most of them in their large kitchens will have Winterhalter's dishwashers. After focusing on these areas, they went global sales and marketing. They have locations in different countries, starting with sales, but then going into also operations depending on the size of the nation. Now, this example I particularly like because earlier this company has gone to such an extent with its focus strategy and with niche that it was Winterhalter dishwashers company. It changed its name to Winterhalter Gastronomy. And not only that, but they are also employing people from hotel industry who know what the customers want rather than people from dishwashing industry. Quality conscious, the German Mittelstand is extremely quality conscious. Precision comes before everything, functionality, we know, and premium products. Of course, they don't, in India, we are used to having products for every price. That is not the case. There is a minimum price below which they won't sell. They will sell premium products, and they gain more than 10 to 15% margin, higher margins than other companies in spite of having premium products. That is because of quality. And when we talk about machinery, when we talk about tools, when we talk about capital equipment, companies don't want Chinese product. They want reliable, consistent product, machinery, which can produce years long, day after day for years together. These companies are extremely proud. Made in Germany has provided them additional brand image also, but then when you talk, they are manufacturing about screws and nuts and bolts. Still they want to manufacture the best screws, best nuts, best bolts. They are not talking about high-end products or digitally or disrupting products. Even if a company like Chemetal, who is chemicals, they say that our goal is to have worldwide technology and marketing leadership. When a company like textile machinery manufacturing, Karl Mayer, they say that we don't want our market share to drop below 70%. So this kind of high standards they have. They start internationalizing from the beginning and aim for global market leadership. Closeness to customer is another important aspect of hidden champions. Also within German companies, within large companies or other Mittelstand companies, hidden champions have a record of, they have almost 5 times more people with the customers. Large companies like Siemens, Bosch have on an average 7% of their people going to the customers. Hidden champions have almost 40% of their people going to the customers. These people are not only in the purchasing department pushing their products, negotiating the price, but they are on the shop floor finding practical solutions for the customers. And that is how they get embedded in the customers' ecosystem. Customers cannot replace them so easily because they know so much about the customers, their processes, their core technologies, that it becomes difficult to replace them. And that's why they are able to provide value orientation. They never talk about cost. They say that this is the value which we provide to you. I know in India it's extremely difficult. India, I often talk about it that it's a cost-driven market, but then we often are competing on cost, taking everything to the bottom. These companies are value-oriented. They say that we will give you better product, we will give better service to your customers, we will give you consistent product, and that is why their products are more expensive, but with the practical incremental solutions, they develop long-term relationship and long-term trust for the customers. Skill development, I mentioned. I have talked to some of the people in your industry. Also, they say that we don't find, in spite of the unemployment in India, we don't find skilled people. In Germany, half of the population is skilled. They don't go for BA, become MSc, or even engineering. They get skilled. They become the best turner, fitters, welders in the country, and then they stick with that. What happens is that there is dignity of labor in Germany. If you are a turner, fitter, or a CNC operator, nobody, not even engineers, look at you, down at you. You are supposed to be the best in your skill area or in your vocation. So there is a dignity of labor which is not existent in India. But then these people are trained, 3 years of education, 3 days or 4 days in the factory, 1 day or 2 days in the school or vocational schools. They become masters in their trade and they keep upskilling. It's not that they just learn it once, and with all the disruption happening nowadays, you can become unemployed very fast. But then they are trained in the new trends. They are getting upskilled continuously. Innovation and R&D is extremely important in considered in Germany, and especially in this high hidden champions. Normal firms spend 3% on R&D. India as a whole, you will be shocked or maybe not to learn that we spend 0.9% of our sales on R&D and on innovation. Global top 1,000 companies spend 3.6%. Hidden champions spend 6% of their sales on R&D. They develop more patents every year than even the large companies at lower cost. Germany is not known for disruptive development, disruptive R&D. They are more known of incremental development. They do machines slightly more productive, more efficient, more safer. So that is going on continuously. So there isn't any disruptive development required in this field. Collaborative efforts, R&D cannot happen when companies, even small companies, SMEs, German Mittelstand, German hidden champions cannot have so many R&D resources employed with them. But in Germany, there is an ecosystem. There are universities, there is Fraunhofer Institute, which does a lot of applied research. So these they all work together and they have processes in place. So there is no, in India, often companies develop something new, but then they are afraid of going to the patent office, you know. But in Germany, the processes are very well defined. Who does what efforts, how they get paid, how cost will be shared, who has developed that intellectual property and how it will be safeguarded. So if we want to become bigger in manufacturing, if we want to increase our manufacturing share from 15 to 25, companies like you are extremely important for that. But we need not copycatting, but develop our own products, our own processes. And for that, innovation research is important, but also the protection of intellectual property becomes important. As Ajmal was just mentioning, Mittelstand, everything is not good. I mean, a lot of things are changing for the Mittelstand also, and it's primarily due to the aging of the population. The demographic development is happening in a way that a lot of companies don't have successors to carry on. Even if the companies are good, they don't have succession. So these companies are available for sale at good prices, good technology, good customer base. Companies are available for sales. Germany considers India as a good partner with some large companies, large countries I don't want to mention. They have a lot of issues with copying of everything from manual to technology and all. This kind of issues they don't have with India. So there is good scope for partnering with German companies. Skilled resources are also becoming short. A lot of Indian talent is getting attracted in spite of language and intercultural issues. A lot of Indians are going there as students of engineering and then staying back, are getting a lot of things to learn. But because of skilled shortage, Germany is again more open for outsourcing of certain activities, and we can benefit from that. Despite of a lot of high tech, costs are still increasing in Germany. So they are more open, and with India's improved image, there are possibilities again of cooperation with them. Chinese competition, they are afraid of. A lot of German companies relied for sourcing from China, and they have learned a lesson during this pandemic, and they are looking for second sources. They are not moving away from China as many people think about it, but they are definitely looking for second source, and India is obviously obvious choice for the second sources. Industry 4.0 initiatives are happening, and a lot of things are happening with Indian IT. You know, it's a combination. Industry 4.0 is IIoT, as it's called, industrial IoT, industrial Internet of Things. And that is happening with Indian IT there. So we have a lot of scope to coordinate with them. That's it from my side. I'm very passionate about SMEs, Indian SMEs, definitely. But then we have a lot to learn from German Mittelstand, and especially hidden champions. If you wish to know more about the Mittelstand, about hidden champions, about business opportunities with Germany, do contact with me. My advisor is called Kontakt India. I represent German Mittelstand, BVMW in India, Federal German Association of SMEs. I write about a lot about SMEs in general and German Mittelstand on LinkedIn. You can visit that. That's it from my side. I would like to take any questions if you have. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time and your attention. Stay safe, stay healthy. Namaste.
Thank you, Manoj, and also thank you, Ajmal and Disha. Excellent presentations. In fact, Manoj, we have a German hidden champion in Pune also by the name of Leonie.
Yeah, definitely. There are.
And the history of Leonie, as far as I know, goes back to the year, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 1569.
Wow.
And they started off as a company manufacturing delicate gold and silver wires, which were available in the French city of Lyon. These were decorative wires which military officers used to use as braid. And from there they moved to Nuremberg in Germany, where in around 1930 they started making enamel coated wires. Today, of course, they are a hidden champion and they are manufacturing wires, copper wires mostly. And they are, of course, very lucky to have them in Pune. Pune, of course, as you all know, right, yes, is the biggest German hub in India. I think they are now almost 350 German companies, if not more, based in one form or the other in this city. Excellent presentations all around. I would ask anybody who would want information to unmute themselves and ask a question. In case there are no questions, just remember that each of these presenters has left their credentials at the end of each presentation. Feel free to write to them. And this event will also go up on YouTube with the permission of everybody present over here. So if you miss something, you can always go back to YouTube. We'll send you the link and you can have a look at it over there. So we are ready for questions if there are any.
Can I have the floor?
Yes, Mr. Lohia, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
See, I'm Lohia from Complex Industrial Systems Private Limited, based at Pune. We're manufacturing foundry equipment and spread over throughout India, as well as exporting to about a dozen countries outside India. We are also representing 3 German companies in India for their products, and our experience has been good. So, but somehow, because of the competition from China, we have not been able to give much benefit to these companies whom we are representing, but still we are having excellent relations with them, and it still continues. We will be definitely interested in working with a few German companies. Particularly what was mentioned was many companies, family-owned companies, and they don't know how much successors for them. We'll definitely like to work with such companies in various ways. We could market their products in India, or we could partly manufacture some of the things here in India, and not necessarily only in foundry equipment, but in general manufacturing sector. So that is one area where we'll be definitely looking for. Another information out of curiosity, what I'd like to understand is suppose somebody wants to open up a company in Germany, a small size company. Well, what would be the approximate cost of opening an office there, and what about the work permits for people who would be stationed over there, and what could be the other costs involved in that? If anybody can guide me on that, that will be wonderful.
Disha, would you
Disha,
like to take the last part? Yeah.
Sure. So basically, there are multiple ways in which you can go about setting up your own entity in Germany. For example, you can go with the option of setting up a branch office, or you can go with the option of setting up a full-fledged subsidiary in Germany. The capital investment requirement for the case of the subsidiary is 25,000 euros at the time of opening the company or opening the first bank account linked to your company.
Okay.
So you should consider 25,000 euros as the initial capital. Of course, apart from that, you need to consider other operating expenses, which include rental for the office, because in Germany, a PO box office is not really an option. That is not an option that is encouraged by the authorities, and tax authorities do not give a valid tax identification number when it's only a PO box related office. So you would need to consider renting, say, an own office space or work from an actual physical location. So this plus your HR related costs are something that you need to calculate on top of the initial capital.
Thank you very much. It was quite informative. Thank you very much.
Sure. And I think Manoj can also probably share some inputs on how one could get in touch with companies that are looking for successors. Probably Manoj has a few inputs.
Yeah, definitely. Lohia ji, just the initial question which you said that you had some relationship with German companies, but I didn't go ahead because of China. Maybe Ajmal can correct me, but the companies I talk to, and especially coming from casting industry, Zubin, are often facing this challenge. But the products which are in medium quantities, not extremely large quantities, as China is more geared up for that, could be good for us, but which involve high engineering content. Depth of engineering is high. China is not easily able to replace us in that, because we have excellent engineering skills. So where the depth, where the manufacturing cost is high of the products and the quantities are small to medium size, there we have a lot of scope. Even going ahead, we can try for such partners, such companies to partner with. Personally, I say, as far as partnering with German companies is concerned, the ideal way is to go through the trade fairs. Trade fairs are not taking place right now, or they are taking place digitally at present, but Germany should open within 6 months. Germany has more than 180 world's largest trade fairs taking place. So there are trade fairs for everybody, and at such trade fairs, you meet your potential customers, you meet consultants, you meet your competitors, you have R&D pavilions from universities and Fraunhofer institutes there. So you get to see a lot of things. But, and this is a big but, I mean, you need to start preparing for visiting such trade fairs 6 months in advance. You need to study those trade fairs. They have a lot of data bank available free on their sites. You need to go through that, or I mean, I help people in going through that. Then you have to prepare your digital content. You have to make your preparations for that, maybe website if you want to do something in German for that, and then write to these companies and to make appointments. What happens is that at trade fairs, and that could be the experience of everybody, you may go there, you exchange cards, you come back, and nothing moves after that, or nothing much at least. But that is because the people standing at the trade fair are salespeople. They are not really interested in buying for you. They are there to sell their company products. And Germans are very direct or very blunt in that. They will say, this is not my job. And if they're friendly, they will just keep your visiting card, but nothing much will happen. Having said that, that trade fair is visited by purchasing, by engineering, by the managing director of that company, everybody. And if you get appointments with those people who are interesting for you, that could be a good starting point for cooperation as well as for business development. Because at trade fairs, at one location, you get to see a lot of companies, you meet a lot of people there. And otherwise also, there are a lot of databases, as Ajmal was again saying, Vdma has a big database. This database could be paid, but then we should be willing to invest into this.
Yeah, that was quite informative. Thanks for that. In fact, I have been visiting GIFA since 1984, and we have been participating there, taking a stall there in from 2007. And definitely that will help us to build up some contacts.
Yeah.
Now, the problem what I mentioned about the competition from China, I will give one input here, that when China opened up, lot of German manufacturers, they went in and set up their plants in China. And later on, what we found is that Chinese duplicated those things there. Absolutely. And they started competing these. Absolutely. And in fact, that is one of the challenges we have been facing for the people whom we are representing from Germany. Correct. And so the other route what we had suggested to them was that there could be critical parts which could be imported from there, and other aggregates could be manufactured, and the entire thing could be assembled here, and the services, other services could be given here. But from my experience from 1984 onwards, I know that this takes a lot of time. Yes. To really work out. Yes. That's the thing. Yes. Yeah.
Patience and strategy we have to have.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Lohia can have a separate meeting with both Disha and Manoj.
Sure,
and,
sure. Yes,
yes. I'm sure some degree of value addition will take place. Absolutely. I see in the chat that there are a lot of people asking that they are interested in starting an association with a German company or companies. So, whether there's any sort of roadmap. I think to those people, if I'm not mistaken, Amar Vedi and people like Mr. Brijesh Mishra, I think what you should do is you should try to get in touch with the speakers and come out with your own specific requirements and queries. Let them understand what you are doing, and then take it forward from there, so that you get a correct perspective which is related to your strengths.
Sure.
Right. Are there any more questions? Anybody else wants to ask a question? Madhumita, are you asking a question? I can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
You seem to be on
Yes. Mute. Yeah. Is she on mute? I can't.
Yeah.
I don't see.
I think you're having some audio problem. Why don't you type your question in the chat? I'll read it out to you. No, there's definitely no audio from your side. Type out the question in chat and we'll read it out here. Yeah, unfortunately, no sound. Anybody else in the meantime? Okay, she's typing the question in chat. Yeah. She's from a company called PELF Infotech Private Limited. Let's see what she wants. In any case, Manoj, Ajmal, and Disha, I'll ask Rishikesh to share the attendance list with you. So in your own way, you could, sort of write to everybody and see what sort of business interests there are.
Sure.
Okay, so there is another question, the importance of okay, let me take Madhumita's question first. They say that we are into additive manufacturing, reverse engineering, and CAD CAM modeling, and they want to expand globally. So again, it's the same thing. They are looking for a roadmap. Any advice to them, to Madhumita?
Yeah, as I mentioned, Madhumita, you should have a strategy as how you want to do it and what are your investment plans. Of course, you have to have either some local partner, or you need to have local operation in Germany or in Europe for that matter, or use this trade fair way, but prepare properly and then use trade fair method. And if you want to have local presence in Germany, of course, Disha can help you.
Sure. I think, we can certainly guide you and assist you through the entire process of setting up your operations in Germany. One thing that I would definitely like to mention here is that when you plan to expand in the German market, do keep enough time buffer, because it always helps to do your homework well to make sure that you have a solid plan, not only for the first year, but at least for the first 2.5 years, because as Zumin mentioned, I mean, Germany is a difficult market to crack. So you need to be patient. You need to stay invested in the first couple of years and not sort of look at it from a short-term perspective, but have a long-term horizon when you think about the German market.
Okay.
I would like to add here I think Mr. Lohia also and Madhumati also, that VDMA has a process called LICO, license and cooperation. So where there's a form which for the interested companies who are interested to tie up with a German company or to come in collaboration or some sort of a technical cooperation with a German company. So this form need to be filled up and to be sent to Germany, and it actually gets distributed to all the members in Germany. And if it is specifically for any particular sector, then the members of those of that sector is actually sent this form. This form is sent to, and then in case there is an interest from the company side, they will directly get in touch with you. So this form is there with us. So in case you or anybody is interested, you can always write to me. I can send you the form and you can take the things forward. This is one area. Second is the additive manufacturing, specifically since Madhumati mentioned about it. VDMA is doing a lot of activities in terms of the upcoming topics like Industry 4.0, e-mobility, as well as additive manufacturing. So we do a lot of symposiums where our member companies present about the German technology in these forums, and they address to the user industry, to the industry which uses these technology. So these forums may be interesting for you to come and participate and network with the German companies and the companies of the sector, and definitely something positive will come out of it. And definitely, as Mr. Manoj mentioned, exhibitions is absolutely one forum where you can meet and network with a lot of people, and you can find solutions to your problems. As well as, in fact, not only in Germany, the many key exhibitions in India also have German pavilions. So these German pavilions are actually the joint booth of the German companies who are participating together. So most of the time, the German representatives themselves are in India in these exhibitions and participating and exhibiting. So you can find from the internet that which are the key exhibitions where the German pavilions are being organized. You can take the help from us also regarding the information. You can visit these exhibitions in India itself and meet the relevant German companies. That may be of interest to you. Thank you.
Mr. Sadagopal, you asked the question of the importance of sustainability audit and its authenticity for doing business in Germany. Would you like to unmute yourself and ask what exactly you're looking for?
Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah, some of the times, say now I am working in a German acquired Indian company from Indore, Combined Engineering Private Limited. Earlier, I was working in some companies where we were asked by Siemens and other two companies to be having a sustainability audit by Intertech or something like that. They give some agency's name. So they want to have the sustainability audit. Unless otherwise you score around 80%. they won't be able to give the business to us, and they conduct this once in a year. Okay, so am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So this is what I want to, because in this company we are not having sustainability certificate like ISO 9000 or ISO 14000 or TS 16949. We know that for Germany to do the business we need VDA, right?
Yeah.
Red Book of Quality, VDA, we have to go. That we know. About the sustainability audit, is it really important or it is only for getting a certification? That is what I wanted to ask you. Can anybody answer?
Good question. See, actually, by having norms and audits, countries try to create some kind of entry barrier. That is true. Now, in this case, if that is happening, I cannot say because the sustainability and environmental standards in Europe and especially in Germany are extremely high. So it's not just that countries from other locations shouldn't come there. That won't be the objective of that. In fact, yesterday I attended a webinar which was conducted by Indo-German Chamber of Commerce and GIZ. In fact, Germany is giving support through GIZ for a lot of sustainability activities in India. They are giving advice and funding those activities also. What they say is that sustainability cannot be restricted to one region. I mean, if Europe is very clean, but then China and India are polluting factories, then that doesn't help the globe, that doesn't help the world. So I think it should be, I will take it something to improve upon. I mean, I will take it as positive and do that audit properly. And there are these hidden champions and all that kind of companies, they won't do unless we have this sustainability, some things about transparency. There are high standards on certain things there.
Normally, sorry for intervention.
No,
so normally earlier what we used to do is DNB rating, the moment you get the DNB number.
Correct.
So in the DNB number, the customer used to have their background check. They pay to the DNB agency and they do the background check.
Correct.
So that we are having like DNB rating. But only the sustainability, just I was asking. So you mean to say that it is better to have to do the business with Germany, or it may come in future to Japan and all these things?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Japan also.
I think the best thing to do is to get in touch with the German chamber, maybe in Bombay, and I think the GIZ representative sits in that office. So you'd probably get a better idea of what is required. Disha, I'm not sure. Is there a GIZ representative in Pune also? You're muted.
There is, I think, right?
Disha, is there a GIZ representative in the IGCC office in Pune?
Not currently.
Not currently. I think they are based in Bombay. They are based in Bombay. Yeah.
Okay. What about in Indore, Madhya Pradesh? Do you have anybody in Madhya Pradesh, Indore?
Can't tell you offhand. Can't tell you offhand.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. So if there aren't any questions, like I said, if you think of something later on, you can always get in touch with the people who made the presentation. I'd once again like to thank Disha, Ajmal, and Manoj, right, for your presentations today. All very excellent. And I hope that in the future we could do something again to take this forward and see if we can add value to whatever work we are doing. Good to see you all, right? Especially old colleagues. And I wish you all well. Be safe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zubin.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for attending. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.